And Johnny, let's move on into our last segment. And I had to re-record the beginning because I said J-Man, which I'm not ashamed that I call you that. But the first thing that I thought of was, do I want to call you J-Man for the people now coming in on YouTube? They don't know your name. I'm assuming that they can read. They've got the little
I think so, but I can't read, so
but like, who cares? Like sometimes reading articles, I screw up. In this podcast, I said, instead of presently, I said presently. So
Presently.
obviously, I cannot read as well, but
Joke's on you. I can't read.
Before we get into it, just reminds me of Blue Streak. And he called me dumb and ugly, and he said I couldn't read good. Little Dave Chappelle line for you there. But before we get into some Game of Thrones action to end out the podcast, got to go ahead and say, please, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on podcast services around the world, I know you guys have Apple accounts, even if you're an Android person. I know you have an Apple account, or you might not use it, but you have it somewhere. Please go over to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and rate and review the Rick and Johnny podcast. I hope we're giving you that 5-star treatment that we aim for each and every week. But make sure to go over there and let us know how we really did. It really means the world to us. But Johnny, talking a little Game of Thrones here on the podcast, and I think it's been, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, since we talked a little Game of Thrones here on the podcast. I'm going to have up there, I actually think it is 3 weeks, because last week we didn't, and then the week before that was our full, almost Marvel podcast, but we've already talked about getting ready for Season 8 of Game of Thrones. We've already talked about Daenerys and kind of like, what does she have to lose? Because every single season, she loses something or something happens to her. So what we're talking about today is we get the official tease, Crypts of Winterfell. You sent it to me. You were so hyped for it. I'm like, Johnny, I already seen it. I can't wait for it. Oh, my God. But we got to talk about it, Johnny.
I think we do a little bit.
And the first thing I want to ask you, because the first thing I did ask you was, where do we start with this, Johnny? Like, there's not enough to go into anything, but there's enough to speculate about some things. And the part where I am going to start with you has to do with what many people are asking about this trailer. Where is Bran Stark? So you tell me, what are you thinking? Why is Bran Stark not here? Because if you haven't seen it, it's down below. But if you'd rather have me describe it to you because you're an audio listener, basically it starts out, you see Jon Snow walking through the crypts of Winterfell. He walks by some old statues of his mom, his dad, well, his mom, quotations, his dad, quotations. And then he kind of hears something behind him. He goes forward. And then it's Sansa and Arya all standing in front of what would be their statues in the crypts of Winterfell. Then at the end, the Winds of Winter comes in, blows out the torch that Jon is holding. And then they all stand there like, okay, we are ready to fight the Night King and the White Walkers that are coming in. So, Johnny, with that being said, why is Bran not there? Why is it only Jon, Sansa, and Arya?
Because no one wants to push the wheelchair. No. Sorry, that's kind of
because if we had him, then Sam's got to be there, and Sam totally kills the mood.
He does. Sam is just gross. Come on. Sam's
got to push the wheelchair. His comedy totally ruins the mood that we're going for.
Exactly. No, I think this is more. So as you and I know, and probably a lot of them know, they record, what was it, 5 extra hours each episode.
Just to throw people off.
Just to throw people off. So that people who are don't actually know.
The paparazzi
don't actually know what's going on there.
I like how you just seamlessly went into that accent.
I did that, and then I just I'm going to keep going with it to the end of the sentence. But I think what they're doing, this is all just symbolism. None of it's actually really going to happen.
The symbology behind it.
The symbology about it. You want me to go back in the accent, apparently.
Yeah. Well, I bring it from Boondock Saints, where one of the cops in that movie goes, so, what what's the symbology here? And then William Dafoe's character goes, the symbolism. I believe the word you were looking for is symbolism. What is the symbolism? So that's why I say symbology. But go ahead with what you were saying.
This is all just symbolisms of what is actually going. Like,
symbolisms to what exactly? Like, don't just say of what. Give me like what you're thinking with this. Like how they're gonna die. Is that what you're thinking?
I think it almost to me comes down to you need to face the Night King, because like they turn around, draw their swords,
facing death.
Yeah, you're facing death.
You're staring
right now.
death in the face.
Yeah, well, because they see their death statues. They hear something behind them. The torch goes out and everything's frosting over, and the two of them draw their swords. Like it's either, sort of you're facing death. It's either you got to fight death, or you're gonna end up like this. And the other one, like you pointed out too, which is an interesting one, is, and I'll get to another point about that of why it does but doesn't matter. You see Sansa, you see Arya statues, they look like them in the actual thing. Jon's looks kind of old, the beard looks thicker. But again, like you look at Ned's statue, it looks not really anything like him. Like it has the hair, has the body feature. The face doesn't look a lot like him, and it's just really kind of almost done poorly. And Arya, I remember her saying that they got it all wrong. It doesn't look like Dad. So, I mean, that could just mean nothing.
I'm going to throw this out there.
Yes.
And this just popped into my head. What if this is them, if we're going on the whole symbolism thing?
Yeah.
What if this was them making that comparison? Okay, his statue in this is the same as Ned, where it doesn't look like him. But the thing that you also look at is it looks older.
Yeah.
What if this is... So, what if it's this? Each person is looking into the mirror and looking into Death's eyes. What if this is saying that Sansa and Arya are not confident that they're going to win this battle, so that's why they see younger versions of themselves.
Like they're going to die here.
Like they're going to die. Like, the realistic option, we could die here and we're not confident.
Yeah.
Where this may be showing, the confidence of Jon Snow that we are going to get through this and not preserve, but we're going to push on through this. The word is escaping me at the moment. But also, what if they did that statue thing to make it look similar to Ned? Where it's like, if you're going to live through this, you're going to grow up into, I'm going to say, your father's footsteps, because and that's why, going back to an article that I saw on Screen Rant where they said, is Jon Snow's parentage not going to matter in season 8? And I know you said, like, well, then why did you tell us? Like, of course it's got to matter.
Like, why did we make such a big fucking deal about it?
Here's what I'm going to say. Didn't read the article, so I don't know if this is said in the article. But what I think on that point is, what if it becomes like it doesn't matter because Jon Snow, in the end, will relate to Ned? Will be like, you know what? Like, yeah, like, let's say when he finds out that these are my parents, it might send him through a thought process. But what if he comes to the realization where it's like, hey, you know what? I am a Stark. Like, that is who I am. That was what I was raised to be. Like, I know I was the bastard child, and that was hard, but, like, in the end, I am a Stark. And what if he aligns himself with Ned in the end, and that's why we're seeing... This is kind of them teasing that.
Could be.
Because the statues, don't look like each other. Kind of like how Ned's didn't look like him.
Could be. My guess is just, like... Mostly, like, I'm just kind of leaning towards, hey, it's just I like yours where it's like, well, they're seeing, like, their confidence of how, if they're going to make it through this.
Yeah.
Which I'm kind of surprised with Arya being so young, but maybe she like, with this type of imminent threat, this is not her.
She's never faced something like this
No,
before.
and this is not her, like, specialty. Yeah, she may face the many-faced God, but nothing like this.
And
And she's more of like an assassin type fighter anyways.
Well, and it shows this too.
Yeah.
Of like, I would say confidence levels out of the three. I would say Jon has the most confidence overall. Arya has the second most confidence overall.
And Sansa's.
And Sansa literally has no confidence.
Yeah.
Well, she has a little bit now, but like has never really had confidence.
She was in very confident
But what this is showing
for a long time. I wouldn't say ever. Like when she was a kid, she seemed very snobby.
Yeah, but that was
confident.
like kind of like that was more
Up
like
until,
rich
like,
kid uppity is what I saw that as.
But
Up
then,
until
like,
she like
got
had to go through some real
well,
hard
dumped
times.
by the second like she got pushed aside by Joffrey for someone else. She
and
was
then going through
confidence
everything,
was,
and then going everything with Ramsay.
yeah, exactly. That I get like
Tell me you love me, Reek. Tell me you love me.
Yes, sir.
Tell me you love me, Reek. Oh God, you just know how to just pierce through, and just like you do the creepy voice
bastard.
very well. Yeah, you do the creepy voice very well. But even
you.
going through that, like that is when like right after Ramsay
Thank you for bringing my wife back to me.
is when she like got any sort of confidence.
Yeah,
in my mind
after Ramsay was killed
Yeah, and I mean.
was where her confidence started to build back up.
The thing that this could also be showing, if we're going off of that with Arya, is kind of the opposite of like throughout this entire series, she has been confident, but she still has that like sense of doubt within her. Or if she's facing something that is so strong, she has some sort of doubt that kind of shows this. Where Jon, I feel like this could be symbolism for.
I feel like
he's always like maybe not at the very beginning, but for the longest time now has been the most confident, will face any threat in his way, and is going to believe he is going to come out on the other end.
I feel like it all like all started to where it's the opposite in confidence now. Like Jon's was way down here. He was the bastard. He was nothing. And through everything he's done, he's gained his confidence to where he is now.
Because
Arya was kind of in the middle.
Blind confidence.
Well,
though.
she was in the middle because like she liked things that girls weren't supposed to like.
Yes.
She did things girls weren't supposed to do. And Ned supported it on the side to where he got her a sword fighter. They called it dancing lessons.
Yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. And as she went through, she gained her confidence to where she is like right below Jon.
I loved her so. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Oh, her
fencing teacher.
fencing teacher.
He was one of my favorite characters.
And she's had multiple people teach her how to fight since then, even up till like she became I would say almost an apostle of the many-faced God. That's what it is, the many-faced God, not the no-face.
that
and
was
Sansa,
Syrio Forel.
Yeah.
I remember that. I probably said his first name wrong, but yeah,
Probably.
I looked it up.
But then the final one was Sansa. She, like you said, it was an uppity, rich girl type one, but she still had the most confidence. And now she's kind of below everyone because of everything that's happened to her.
Because of the shit she went
And I
through.
get it, and I get that. I understand why it would be so low. It's just that I'm just saying it kind of swapped levels. But back to
wasn't she?
her confidence
with Ramsay though.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did he rape her?
Yeah.
Technically
he did.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, in that type of
That's right.
era and everything, it was his wife, so he can do what he wants with her.
But I'm just saying, like, because didn't we have a scene where she was crying during it?
Yeah.
Like he kind of forced himself on her.
Yeah, he did.
I'm just refreshing my memory a little bit.
Yeah, no, he did.
Okay. Like going through that, it's like, holy crap.
He did.
And you had to go through that.
Yeah, and I'm not saying anything, but I'm just saying where they're.
Yeah.
She went through.
I was just.
Her
kind of
confidence level went
reminiscing
from
on
here and started taking a nosedive until she finally, Ramsay's dead. She got to become the Lady of Winterfell, and it kind of
shot up.
I wouldn't say it shot up, but it started going back up.
For her though, like
It
where
was
it
a
was,
shoot up,
it was a shoot up, but it wasn't like anywhere near what we've seen.
But what I was gonna say, we never answered the question. Where do I think Bran is?
We just went off into Jon Snow.
Went off into way everything else.
That's usually what this does.
Here's one to think about. Bran's not there because Bran's already dead. He's the three-eyed raven. He is no longer Bran. He
kind of the same thing I'm thinking about.
He doesn't consider himself Bran anymore.
He's not.
He's
a
like,
Stark
oh,
anymore.
welcome back, Stark. You're now the heir of this thing. I don't want it.
Yeah,
I'm not taking it because
he's not a Stark anymore.
He
the
doesn't.
Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah. So that's where I think why part of the reason Bran's not there anymore, because to him it doesn't matter. I'm not a Stark. I am now the Three-Eyed Raven.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's where I would go with is that he's not a Stark.
Yeah.
He is, and I don't mean to reiterate what you're saying, but yeah, he's the Three-Eyed Raven. I know that there's other people that have said, like, oh, well, he's not there because he's already there. Like, he goes into vision mode and can already see it.
That too, but I mean, again, this is all also just, to me, it's all symbology, as we call it.
Yeah, the symbology of everything. But I mean,
but no, yeah, it's all the symbolism of many things, because walking through the crypts, it's about death, and they see
wheeling through the crypts just doesn't have the same, doesn't hit you quite the same as walking.
Exactly.
And I'm joking, by
don't
the
got
way.
them wheels down in them crypts over there.
Oh, look at you trying to get some of the rhymes on that. But I mean, yeah, I just think that
I don't know what I'm doing with that.
There's a part of it that is, yeah, these three are the more like dramatic, like I'm gonna fight you head on characters, where Bran's gonna be more of like the best way we had it explained was by Charlie, who's a Emergency Awesome, great channel. He said that like Bran is gonna be more of like this epic mind wizard battle is how he said it.
That'd be
with
awesome.
the Night King. So that's why I don't think Bran is down there, but I will ask you this to end it. With this teaser, how many of these three die? How many of these three die at the end of season 8 because of this teaser?
I'm honestly completely unsure about Sansa and Arya, but I think Jon's going to make it through.
Jon's going to the throne. That's what I think.
I think Jon's going to the throne. I'm debatable which one is going to, like, if it's Sansa or Arya, I think one of them's going to die.
I think both of them die.
You think both?
Mm-hmm.
You don't think like he's gonna give Arya the Warden of the North or something?
Maybe.
Take after Dad. You can finally be who you want to be.
If anybody dies,
or Wardeness.
If I had to pick one of them, Arya dies.
Do you think Arya?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you think that?
Because I feel like she's gonna be that one where it's like, out of the two, Sansa and Arya, she's going to be the one to die on the battlefield, or it's going to be a miscalculation on her part. Well, because she's been very calculated in her moves, kind of like an assassin. It'll be a miscalculation, and then a White Walker will kill her.
I almost want to say Sansa, because I feel like they're going to maybe let Arya. I would like that, because then it kind of pulls into that Ned thing. But I feel like Sansa is going to be the one. If any of them ends as the Queen or King of Winterfell, it's Sansa. The only reason I was saying that, though, is because it might bring a nice tie-in later on with her finishing her list. Cersei's still on her list.
Or think about this. Cersei and Arya kill each other. They both die together.
How do you think Cersei's going to kill Arya?
What if it's kind of one of those things where... Because how many times have we seen you think you've got Cersei and she gets you first?
True.
Well, this could be something where this time the person actually got Cersei, but Cersei still got her.
What if she gets Cersei and the Mountain gets her?
Maybe.
Because the Mountain's still a thing, too.
Here's what I'm going to throw out, and this is why I originally said both of them. Jon lives. Daenerys lives. Daenerys gets the Iron Throne. Jon, because Sansa and Arya are dead, and because of what I've already said, where they're making the statue kind of look resembling
a lot
of, well, not just that. There's a lot of things in common with Ned's statue and Ned. What if it becomes, hey, I know I'm a Targaryen, you're a Targaryen, both of us have claim to the Iron Throne. What if we end this? We end this stupid bickering between the North and the South. What if we can do it to where, because they already have a romance together, what if Daenerys and Jon are the keys to uniting the land? Uniting the, 5 or 7, is it? I think I'm taking
it's
things
7.
from different. Uniting the 7. No, I think I'm taking Aquaman. I think it's only 5. I don't know. Correct me down below. I think Unite the 7 is from Aquaman, and it's the 7 kingdoms. But basically, uniting everybody.
It would be if 2 of those kingdoms weren't dead.
Yeah.
Or one of them.
Uniting those kingdoms, and in the end, we see Daenerys on the Iron Throne. Jon seeing, and this is why the parentage might not count, or might not matter, of yes, I know I'm technically Targaryen blood, but I relate more to Stark. I am going to stay up here and be the Warden of the North.
Or it might not matter because he's proven himself to be, and it's the people that want him.
What if it's just he gets the Iron Throne and he's the king of everything?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. What if instead of this isn't just Jon because of his parentage. This is Jon because he's earned it. They've already made him King of the North, which he didn't want the title, but he's doing it. He doesn't do it for glory or anything. He does it for the people.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Could you see Jon, if he had the choice, passing the Iron Throne to Daenerys and not wanting it? Not wanting it and saying, you know what, you take it, I'll be Warden of the North.
I could see him doing that,
but just like his character and who he is.
I could see him doing that because he does everything for the people. Like he doesn't care about titles and all that shit because he never had it. He does everything for the people, and they made him their leader. Yeah, I said that right. I thought I said it wrong. So I would feel like if the people wanted Jon as their leader, and he did that, it was through all the 5 or 7 or whatever number kingdoms there are. Huh?
Just the
kingdoms. Whatever kingdoms there are, because I don't know who's even left anyways at the moment. I have to go recap.
Also, I have to tell you, last Game of Thrones discussion we had where we were talking about Daenerys, you were 110% correct. When you were talking about Iron Isles, Uncle Iron Isles.
Yeah, Uncle.
You were right because it was on TV.
Yeah.
About a week after we did that. And it was the scene with the White Walker where they bring it to Cersei and show it. And I completely forgot about this. You remembered it. He gets up and says, "Fuck this. I'm going to an island where that thing can't touch me."
Yeah.
Little does he know they'll just freeze the water and walk right over.
Yeah.
But I was like, holy shit, Johnny was right. I was wrong. He did say, "Fuck this shit. I'm getting out of here." And I'm taking my people back.
But I think that was also the diversion where he's supposed to go get the Golden Company elephants and all that shit.
So we don't know if he really did go back.
Oh, it looked like it was pretty serious as because that was his plan. It's like, if these things fucking start taking over, I'm on an island. I don't have to fucking worry about this.
Yeah. And it looked like he was. I was like, oh man, Johnny was right. I totally forgot.
No, yeah,
that he went ahead and
basically said, "Fuck this."
Any final things that you think we did not touch with this, or anything with Game of Thrones season 8 that you're like, hey, I want to mention this, and we didn't talk about it?
I got one for you.
Okay,
we're all gonna need therapy after this April. Got Game of Thrones season 8 and Endgame.
When does let's see? GOT season 8. When's the last episode?
Oh, last episode. I don't know. It's only 6 episodes, so basically, if you get a calendar up,
so it's going to be the last episode's going to be May 19th.
May 19th.
So Avengers Endgame. Do we even know an exact date?
April 20 something.
Is that the 26th?
Yep.
April 26th. So April 26th will be right before the 3rd episode.
I will be scheduling my therapy session for the 27th.
So right before the 3rd episode is when we'll have Avengers Endgame, and then after that weekend it'll be the last 3 episodes of Game of Thrones. Wow, only 6 episodes. This season's gonna fly right by. I know, but it's gonna fly right by.
It is.
You do know that, right?
Oh, I do.
Like this season is just going to fly and breeze by because we'll have so little itty bitty
such a small seasons.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up?
No, I'm excited about this. Nervous but excited.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think, obviously down below in that comment section. Make sure to also comment about anything that we talked about in this podcast. Also, thank you guys for checking us out, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on podcast services around the world. Make sure to hit us up on Patreon, iTunes and Apple Podcasts to review us. Twitter, the website, mostvaluablepodcast.com. Twitter is at mostvaluablepod. You can also hit up our store at Most Valuable Podcast. We got a ton of stuff for you guys. We're here every single day for you guys. Let us know what you guys think. We love being here. But for Johnny, Ricky Widmer, as always, have a good day, everybody.